It is so nice to meet you all in this virtual Zoom space. As Meredith mentioned, my name is Ariel and I work at Lincoln Center. I particularly help run a program called Lincoln Center Moments, which is designed for adults with dementia and their caregivers. We are going to Zoom in today and talk a lot about our remote experience, which is called Lincoln Center Moments at Home. So you'll hear me talking a lot today about Lincoln Center Moments at Home. That is in reference to everything that we are doing, in response to COVID. I have three goals for us all today. One is to share out about the program, Lincoln Center Moments at Home. One is to take you all on an interactive experience that demonstrates the program. I feel like one of the best ways to understand something is to physically engage in that. So I hope you're ready to, don't worry, it won't be a huge ask, but I hope you're ready to stretch and move your bodies a little bit because there will be a slight interactive portion. And also I would love to hear from you. There's going to be a portion of this where we can have a dialogue. It's always important to hear from our community, full stop, period, but especially in this very specific, extraordinary moment of time, we want to make sure that we hear your voices as we continue to evolve and grow our offerings for folks. Also, just a message that I like to give at any point when I'm on Zoom: take care of yourselves. If you need water, if you need a break, if you need something, if you need to turn your video off, please do so. So I am going to share my screen. We now are able to see one another in our little Zoom lands, but I'm going to share my screen so that you can see a slideshow. So give me a moment here. Okay. Excellent. Meredith, will you give me a thumbs up if you can see the first slide, which is an image? A thumbs down. Okay. Give me a moment here. And thank you all for bearing with me. Great. I'm seeing a thumbs up now. Excellent. So the first slide that you will see is a picture from a Lincoln Center Moments performance on our campus. There is an audience of about 50 looking on to a musical performance. There are three performers. There is a singer, a vocalist, a cellist, and a pianist performing for the audience. So as I mentioned, Lincoln Center Moments is a performance-based program for people with dementia and their caregivers. Lincoln Center Moments at Home is our response to COVID and offerings that we have remotely for people with dementia and their caregivers. So a bit of context and background: why was this program created? We noticed at Lincoln Center that there was an aging subscriber base and that more individuals in New York City were experiencing dementia, and that it was important to have a space for people to come together to be able to continue to experience performance in a way that would be comfortable and accessible to them. And we wanted to provide a familiar but also elevated experience that mirrored Lincoln Center events, with accommodations like smaller audience sizes.
Sorry
Yeah.
to interrupt. Can you put the slideshow on?
Oh, can you not see the slideshow?
No, I only see your desktop. I can see I can see the slides, but I can also see your tabs.
Interesting. Okay. Let me adjust. Is that better?
Yes, thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. Where would I be without a Zoom stage manager? Thank you, Meredith. So the program has two components, and the reason that I'm taking some time to talk about these components are because they very much remained a part of the heart of our remote Lincoln Center Moments at Home offerings as well. So part one is a performance where there is 1 hour of a performance. Sometimes it is a musical performance. We also have a number of dance performances, and we are constantly trying to engage in the theater art forms that happen across Lincoln Center in this program as well. And there are introductions and questions and answer sessions with the artists. And then the audience breaks into smaller groups and participates in a workshop led by a teaching artist and music therapists where they explore the themes and contents, and it is designed to cement and deepen the experience at the performance. The workshops typically have 3 components, including music making, art making, and discussion. So this slide breaks down that program outline. And then also, if you look over to the right, there are 3 images, all showing Lincoln Center Moments participants and their experience. On the top right, we have 2 individuals participating in an art project. In the middle, we have a number of participants sitting in a circle with their arms outstretched over their heads. And then in the bottom right corner, we have a number of participants in a circle holding hands and leaning over to one side. So, what's to do when the entire program is centered around gathering together and live performance? Well, we responded with 3 prongs of an approach. One was digital activities, and I am going to go deeper into our digital activities in just a moment, but essentially a broad overview is our digital activities are a website portal that we created. Every single week, we take a video and we show a clip of the video, and then we have activities that are designed to go along with the video. Something important to know about the website is that it was designed in response to Lincoln Center's larger efforts, which was a website that was put out called Lincoln Center at Home. There are dozens of videos that come out every day, and they are beautiful and they are amazing, but they are very robust in their offerings. There are so many videos to choose from. And we thought that for our particular community, it made sense to take 1 video a week and really zero in and center in on it and go deeper and provide activities alongside that activity. So the first part of Lincoln Center Moments at Home is digital activities. And on the slide here, you will see a snapshot of the website, which I will actually be able to take you through later on. Then we have virtual workshops. We actually have one coming up, and I will give you information towards the end in case you're interested in participating. But the virtual workshops happen on Zoom, which is a platform you're familiar with because you're on it right now. And the Zoom workshops are a bit of a longer performance experience. We usually show performance clips of about 25 to 30 minutes. And then we invite people into a live workshop space where teaching artists and music therapists are leading participants in a workshop based on the performance video that they saw. And then we, last but not least, one of our big areas of focus was thinking about folks who might not have digital access, knowing that so much of what is happening right now is moving into digital and virtual spaces that involve technology, and how are we going to include folks who don't have access to technology. So we are also in the process of creating hard copy packets, and the packets include photos from past Lincoln Center Moments shows, and then a series of activities designed to go along with those photos in those packets. So that's the broad overview of the Lincoln Center Moments at Home effort: digital activities, virtual workshops, and hard copy packets. I'm going to zoom in for a moment on our digital activities. So I'm going to take us on a little tour of the website itself. Great. And Meredith, will you give me a thumbs up if you can see the website now? Excellent. Okay. One other thing that I will sort of mention about the website, and more specifically about all of our programs, is that the goal of Lincoln Center Moments at Home was to harness and highlight the on-campus model and then put it in a virtual and a remote setting, with performance and activity engagement being at the heart of the work. We were thinking about entry points for people in various stages and various settings, and it was very much inspired by and adapted off of the main Lincoln Center at Home site, which I'll give you a link to. And if you want to watch, I mean, you can watch the opera, you can watch the Met, you can watch so many things. So that is also something that we were thinking about when we created all of this. So you will now see on your screens our Lincoln Center Moments at Home website, where all of our digital activities are housed. On the top of the screen is a picture of the fountain at Lincoln Center with two of the iconic buildings surrounding it. On the left side, you're going to see a toolbar where you can click. It has the names of each of the week's clips and then the date next to it. So you can always use that as a navigation bar. For example, if I were to click this first one, Richard III, week of May 17th, it would take me to the Richard III week, and it shifts between each of the lessons each week. I'll take us back to that home page. There's a welcome message and picture, and then if you continue scrolling down, there are links to each of the pages that I also just showed on the side, where it shows an image of the clip that we are featuring and the date. So I'm going to take us to Liz Garing Dance Company, which is the week of April 12th. And I'm going to go through the components of the website, and then we are going to go ahead and watch a bit of the performance clip and then participate in some of the activities. So this template is similar across all of the weeks. The content changes. So there are always a set of goals. For this week, the goals were to experience a piece of dance inspired by visual art, to deepen the experience through reflection, art making, and movement, and to explore the themes of art adaptation and shape. Continuing down with the components of the website, the next thing you'll see on the website is a performance video, some information about the video itself, and then an opportunity to click and watch the video. Again, thinking about those entry points, we were hoping to create a space in which caregivers could, if they wanted to, scroll down and do the entire thing alongside the individual they're caring for. But also, if someone needed a break, we also wanted to provide an opportunity where you could put on the activity video, and essentially this portion, the activity video, has a pre-recorded video of a facilitator leading through the activities that I'm about to show you below. So in theory, you could press and watch the video, and that facilitator would take you through the activities. There's always a warm-up to sort of get our bodies and voices, performance tools ready to activate. Reflection and discussion. These are lines of inquiry based on what did you see and experience watching the video, with some images for reference. Art making, so that folks are creating a piece of art inspired by the themes and the piece, an example, and then in this case, a movement activity. Depending on the week, those might shift and change the activities themselves. At the very bottom of the page, there's an Explore More section in which, for people who are really excited by questions and conversation, there's space to go deeper with questions and conversations. There's additional links if you want to learn more about the company or the artists involved. Opportunities to share. And then on the right side, my cursor is over it right now, but there's also a printable version. So were someone to want to open it up and see this in a different format, or to be able to print it off, there's that option there as well. So I'm now going to give us a moment to experience this activity. So the first thing I'm going to do is show you, I'm scrolling back up to show you our performance video of the week, which is Liz Garry Dance Company. As you watch this video, I would like for you to notice what shapes do the dancers make with their bodies? What shapes do the dancers make with their bodies? If you would like to write that down or even put that in the chat, you can. And we're going to share those out after we watch. And we'll only watch like 30 seconds of the clip.
There to there. Opportunity for me to develop a much more intimate relationship with the physicalities of these dancers.
I'm going to pause us for now. I always feel bad pausing a piece of art in the middle of it, but I want us to be able to move together as well. So if you haven't already, please write in the chat, what shapes do the dancers make with their bodies? Curved lines, triangles, lots of triangles. Letters like X, Y, L, M, T, V shapes. These are all really great. Right angles, rounded shapes. Okay, super. If you are moved to, you can continue writing there, but let's take this first idea of a curved line. Let's make our playing space really small right now. I just want you to focus on your hand. So everybody hold up a hand. And I would like you to make a curved line, which was our first shape offering, with your hand. If you want, you could use a finger or you could use your whole hand. Make a curved line with your hand. And if you aren't already doing this, start to move it so that it almost becomes like a dance of your hand. Great. This is going to be our dance movement called curved line. Okay, you can drop your hand. Now I want you to wiggle your toes and find your feet on the ground. And it seems like we have letters, an X. So I would like you to take your toe and draw an X on the floor. This is not something that we're going to be able to see in our Zoom screens, but we can imagine it. See what happens if you make a small X, a teeny tiny X, or if you make a large X. And then let's find a way to make an X in our screen, in this part of our screen. So mine might look like this. Great. We have an X. And then I'm starting to see some triangles in this already, which was one of our other offerings. So can you adjust your shape to make a triangle of some sort? And you might want to experiment with it a little bit. Great. And you can drop your hands. Let's sequence those three things together. So we're making a small dance. We have curved line. Let's all get that together. Make your curved line, your X, and your triangle. Let's try that all together again. Curved line, X, or curved line, X, and then triangle. Here we go. Ready? Curved line, X, triangle. Let's see what happens if we do it 2 times in a row, but we make it a little bit faster. So 1, 2, 3, here we go. Curved line, and X, and triangle. again, and curved line, and X, and triangle. Give yourselves a round of applause or some shine for that beautiful choreography. That particular activity was inspired by shape because the choreographer in the video, if we watched from the beginning, shares that the piece was made alongside an artist. And the artist, the visual artist, used shape and geometry a lot. So we wanted shape and geometry to be at the heart of this particular activity. Thank you for participating and going alongside that with me. Meredith, can you give me a time check? Do we have 1 minute, 2 minutes? 1 minute. Okay, great. So something I want you to think about as you leave is what are the benefits of moving, of movement, of performance, of engaging in performance art? You can think about that broadly, but also especially right now, how might that be helpful to you, to the person you're caring for? And if that's something that you want to share out in the chat before we go, please, by all means, feel free to share your voice there. I wish we had more time to hear your thoughts, and I wish that there was more time to have a conversation around how we could continue to evolve this, and or the things that you are finding useful during this time, and or also things that you're finding to be blocks or challenges. Because as members of institutions, I do want to make sure that we are hearing voices and incorporating those. And also this, one thing that I would really like to mention before we go is that, that a lot of our work is being made possible by the support of our institution, by the Mellon Foundation, who is supporting us in Lincoln Center moments, and especially in Lincoln Center moments at home. So before I go, I am going to share my screen with some resources on how you can stay connected to us. We are having a virtual workshop on, on May 28th. And so we will send the notes around to, so that you can sign up for that. We'll make sure that you have the website link so that if you want to access the website, you can use it. And we'll also ensure that you have our contact information and the ability to sign up on our mailing list should you wish to do so. And all of that is here, and I'll make sure that Meredith gets it so that she can send that around to you as well. And thank you so much for participating and sharing this time.
Thank you so much, Ariel. That was wonderful. I'm sorry that it's such a short time. I just wanted to be respectful of the schedules of all of our caregivers and our professionals. We do have just a few minutes. If you have any other questions, I'm going to actually unmute everyone since we're kind of a small group and we just have a few more minutes, or you can enter them in the chat if you like. But thank you very much. I also wanted to mention that we are also supported by the Andrew Mellon Foundation, and we couldn't have done this or any other of our programs without their support. So thank you very much. I also wanted to give a shout out to our upcoming webinar. It's actually going to be next Monday, which is Memorial Day, as many of you know. We've actually brought back one of our cultural partners, the Orpheus Chamber Orchestra, to do a special program with us on Monday at 1. So I hope you will all join us then, and please spread the word. The process will be the same. You can just register with our helpline at 646-744-2900, and we would love to see you and have you enjoy the afternoon with us. So let me just take a quick look at the chat to see if we have any other questions or comments. I have lots of thank yous. Thank you, Ariel.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I have one from, let's see, I have all your links. Fantastic. Let's see, hold on. Let's see. We have one comment that says, engaging caregivers in the demented is hugely helpful. Wonder if this can be scaled up further to involve more breakout rooms and lots more organizations. We would love to be able to do this.
Could I follow up on that, Meredith? This
Sure,
is Michelle. I actually participated in the Alvin Ailey Lincoln Center Moments. It was fantastic with my demented mother. And a number of the ones done by the Memory Tree with this wonderful woman whose name is escaping me from the American Folk Art Museum.
Oh, wonderful.
And I can speak firsthand to the value of this, even in the Zoom forum, to this effort. What made it so beautiful is a lot of demented people and their caregivers are watching TV, 24/7. It's very different when you have someone who knows your name and is engaging with you and asking you to participate either in the way that Ariel did with the choreography or dance movements or yoga movements, or through drawing. And it was like transformative watching my mother engage with the beautiful facilitators. So my question for you with my Mellon Foundation hat on is how in this remote environment, I feel like you should be taking advantage of this remote environment by hiring many more, sure, unemployed music therapists and curators and art therapists to do your breakout rooms. You have infinite space to bring more people in, and that it would behoove you to reach out, Culture Connect, to your many contacts, to the many memory trees out there and community centers that are interacting with this population, and bring them in so that your invite list isn't those that you could have physically accommodated in Lincoln Center before, but it can be infinitely greater with more breakout rooms. Because if you lose the breakout rooms, you're not any different than the rest of the Lincoln Center website or TV. So I would encourage you to think about that, to really explosively expand this. And then when if we ever get back to normal, think about that as an add-on feature to your regular in-person programming, which of course is, uniquely valuable, gets people out of their homes, and there's nothing like meeting people in person. But there are many people who are incapacitated that would benefit from this going forward as well. So I would think out of the box, not just think about this as a kind of temporary resumption, but more programmatically as a complementary way of reaching more people and bringing in more artists to help you.
Well, thank you so much, Michelle, for speaking up about that, kind of the technology piece of it. And I realize it's a little after 1:30, so I don't want to keep people too much longer. But this is a conversation that is already going on. How do we scale up? How do we take advantage of all of these different platforms to offer these types of programs and make it interactive and personal and keep those connections and maintain those connections? So that's definitely part of the conversations that I'm having. It's also part of the AAM conference that I was just listening to this morning that is actually supported by Microsoft. So they're already thinking, their Microsoft Education department is already thinking about how do we do this for museums? How do we do it for schools? How do we do it for families across the board? So it's part of a larger conversation, but thank you again, Michelle, for bringing that up. Before I go, everyone says thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's see. There's registration form links and mailing lists in the chat. If you don't have a chance to click on those before we end, I think we'll probably include them on the PDF that we'll put on the link on the Connect to Culture website. And thank you so much, everyone, for coming. And I hope to see you next week on Monday for our Orpheus Chamber Orchestra Memorial Day special program. They're very excited to be part of this webinar mini-series. And if you have any questions or would like to talk to someone about our other programs and services, please do call and take advantage of our helpline at 646-744-2900. And lastly, of course, but not least, Ariel, thank you again for joining us. Lincoln Center Moments is a fantastic in-person program and now online program. And I hope that you will all take advantage of those resources as well. And enjoy the rest of your afternoon. Thanks very much.
Having me.
So wave goodbye to her. Good.
Goodbye.
All right. Thank you.
Bye,
Thank
Ariel.
you.
Thank you.